In the world of supercars, there are names that demand respect the moment they're spoken. And then there's LaFerrari, a name so powerful, so pure, that it doesn't just represent a car, it represents the very soul of Ferrari. And now, in 2026, that soul has been reborn. The 2026 Ferrari LaFerrari isn't just an update, it's a resurrection. A phoenix forged from carbon fiber, roaring with 1,200 horsepower and the kind of emotion only Maranello can create. From the moment you see it, you know this isn't evolution, it's revolution. The shape is sharper, more aggressive, with lines that look like they were drawn by the wind itself. Ferrari's designers didn't just sculpt a body, they sculpted movement. Every crease, every vent, every shadow across that crimson skin tells a story, one of precision, performance, and passion. Underneath that carbon fiber armor lies Ferrari's most advanced hybrid system ever. A 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 engine paired with dual electric motors, delivering a combined 1,200 horsepower and 850 pound-feet of torque. The result? 0 to 60 in just 1.9 seconds. Let that sink in. Faster than a Bugatti Chiron, faster than a Tesla Plaid. The LaFerrari 2026 is not just competing with the future, it is the future. But it's not just about speed, it's about how that speed feels. Ferrari engineers obsessed over the sound, making sure the V12 doesn't whisper like an EV, but screams like a demon on the final lap of Monza. That symphony of power echoes through titanium exhausts, turning every acceleration into an opera of adrenaline. Inside, the cabin feels like stepping into a fighter jet, minimal, focused, and wrapped in Alcantara and carbon fiber. The digital dash curves around the driver like a halo of technology, with every control angled perfectly toward the pilot. No distractions, no nonsense. Just you, the engine, and the open road. And here's the thing, Ferrari didn't chase luxury here. They chased purity. Every gram, every bolt, every electronic system was tested to ensure one thing: connection. The steering feels alive, the throttle breathes with your heartbeat, and the car dances like it's reading your mind. That's not engineering, that's art. The 2026 LaFerrari carries a top speed of 261 miles per hour, but numbers only tell part of the story. What really makes this car special is what happens beyond the numbers. The way it makes you feel when the red line flashes, the way your pulse syncs with the revs, the way every drive feels like destiny. Ferrari says only 599 units will be built, each costing around $3.4 million. But even if you had the money, you'd need something far more valuable: an invitation. Because the new LaFerrari isn't sold, it's chosen. And if you're one of the lucky few, what you're buying isn't just a car, you're buying a moment in history. The release date is expected for late 2026, but early prototypes have already been spotted testing in Fiorano, wearing minimal camouflage, roaring like the ghosts of Enzo Ferrari's dreams. And make no mistake, this car isn't just about honoring his legacy, it's about continuing it. When the original LaFerrari launched decades ago, it was a glimpse into tomorrow. The 2026 version? It's a declaration that tomorrow is already here. And for Ferrari, it's proof that passion still matters in a world of silent EVs and soulless performance stats. So when you see it, low, wide, glowing like liquid fire under the Italian sun, remember this: some cars are made to impress, others are made to inspire. The 2026 LaFerrari does both. It's not just another hypercar, it's the heartbeat of Ferrari itself, reborn for a new era. It's not asking for your attention, it's demanding it, because legends never fade. They just come back faster. There was a time when the Corvette was just America's favorite sports car. A loud, proud V8 with a badge that stood for power and patriotism. But in 2026, the Corvette Stingray isn't just a sports car anymore. It's a supercar in every sense of the word. Refined, ruthless, and reborn for the modern era. This is Chevrolet's masterpiece. The kind of car that doesn't just perform, it proves something. The 2026 Stingray is sharper, meaner, and more intelligent than ever before. From the first glance, you can tell this isn't the Corvette your grandfather bragged about. It's the evolution of an icon. The mid-engine layout, the low stance, the exotic proportions, everything screams precision. And yet, it still feels unapologetically American. The body is a sculpture of aerodynamics. Every vent, every cut, every surface was refined in wind tunnels and on racetracks across the world. The headlights look like the eyes of a predator locked onto its prey. The rear haunches are muscular, aggressive, pure Corvette attitude. And then there's that signature quad exhaust, centered perfectly like the barrels of a jet fighter, ready to unleash chaos. Underneath the carbon fiber skin lies Chevrolet's latest beast, a 6.2-liter naturally aspirated LT2 V8 engine, now tuned to 515 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque. But don't let those numbers fool you. This car isn't about brute force alone. With an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, launch control, and revised aerodynamics, the 2026 Stingray rockets from 0 to 60 in just 2.8 seconds. That's faster than the McLaren 570S, faster than the Porsche 911 Carrera S. This is America's muscle turned surgical. But the magic isn't just in speed, it's in balance. The mid-engine design brings perfect weight distribution, allowing the Stingray to glide through corners with composure that used to belong only to European exotics. The steering is sharper, more direct. The suspension is adaptive, learning from every bump, every turn, every breath of the driver. It feels alive, not just fast, but intelligent. Step inside and you're greeted by something unexpected: sophistication. The 2026 Stingray's cabin is a fusion of fighter jet design and luxury craftsmanship. The cockpit wraps tightly around the driver, with leather, carbon fiber, and aluminum blending seamlessly. The 12-inch digital display feels straight out of a spaceship, while the new infotainment system supports AI-based driving assistance, voice commands, and augmented navigation overlays. And yet, with all this technology, the Stingray never forgets what it is: a driver's car. The flat-bottom steering wheel feels thick and confident. The paddle shifters respond instantly, and the seat hugs you just tight enough to remind you you're not in a luxury car, you're in a weapon. Chevrolet knows that performance isn't just about what happens on the road, it's about what happens in your soul. That's why they've tuned the exhaust note like an instrument. Switch to track mode and the sound transforms into something primal, a mechanical symphony that vibrates through your chest. It's raw, it's honest, it's American thunder with supercar precision. The 2026 Stingray tops out at 203 miles per hour. But it's not the top speed that matters. It's how effortlessly it gets there. It's the confidence you feel as the world blurs around you. The sensation of absolute control, even when logic says you shouldn't have any. That's the Corvette difference. It's wild, but it never loses focus. And then there's the price, starting around $75,000. Let that sink in. A car that rivals six-figure European machines, yet remains within the reach of dreamers. That's what makes the Corvette more than a car. It's a statement, a promise that you don't have to be born into wealth to touch greatness. The 2026 Stingray will hit dealerships in early summer, and it's already causing chaos online. Car enthusiasts across the globe are calling it the best value supercar on Earth. But what really matters isn't the reviews. It's the feeling you get when you see one on the road. That quiet moment of awe when you realize America finally built something the Italians have to take seriously. Because this isn't just a Corvette anymore. It's a bridge between the past and the future, between muscle and precision, between Detroit grit and global ambition. It's the story of how a classic grew up and came back to conquer the world. So, when the engine roars and the rear tires bite the pavement, you're not just driving, you're declaring something. That legends don't fade, they adapt, they evolve, and sometimes they come back sharper than ever. The 2026 Corvette Stingray, the heartbeat of America, now tuned for tomorrow. Some names aren't just written in automotive history, they're burned into it with flames. And among those legends, one bird flew higher, louder, and prouder than the rest: the Pontiac Firebird. For decades, it stood as a symbol of rebellion, of freedom, of raw American power that didn't ask for permission. But then, Pontiac disappeared. The Firebird vanished into the past, a memory, a myth, until now, because in 2026, the legend rises again. The 2026 Pontiac Firebird is not a retro revival, it's a resurrection, a car that carries the soul of the Trans Am era but rebuilt from the ground up for a new generation that still believes in power, passion, and individuality. It's the muscle car that refuses to stay buried, a phoenix reborn in carbon and steel. From the very first glance, it's unmistakable. The design is aggressive, unapologetic, and dripping with attitude. The long hood, the flared fenders, the split grille with glowing LED slits that mimic the eyes of a predator, it's not subtle and it doesn't try to be. Every inch of this car screams rebellion. And yes, right in the center of that sculpted hood, the iconic flaming bird emblem returns, reimagined with electric orange light that pulses like a heartbeat when you start the engine. Underneath that sculpted exterior lies pure chaos controlled by engineering genius. The 2026 Firebird comes with a 6.6-liter twin-turbocharged V8, producing a staggering 850 horsepower and 800 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with an advanced hybrid assist system that adds another 100 horsepower through electric torque fill, giving it a combined output of 950 horsepower, enough to silence any doubters who thought the Firebird couldn't compete with modern titans. 0 to 60, just 2.3 seconds. Top speed, 228 miles per hour. And yet, even with those insane numbers, the Firebird feels old school in all the right ways. The steering is heavy and precise, the chassis talks to you, and the throttle response is instant, mechanical, not digital. It's the kind of car that reminds you driving is supposed to be felt, not filtered. Pontiac engineers, now operating under GM's performance division, built the new Firebird on a heavily modified version of the Corvette ZR1 platform. That means active aerodynamics, carbon fiber panels, and an adaptive magnetic ride suspension that reads the road 1,000 times per second. It's brutal when you want it to be, but graceful when it needs to be. A true split personality, just like the drivers who used to race these on the streets at midnight. Inside, the Firebird blends retro soul with futuristic design. The dash is driver-focused, dominated by a curved OLED display that morphs from vintage analog dials to digital telemetry at the push of a button. The seats are stitched with flaming red thread, and the steering wheel carries the same Firebird emblem that once ruled American highways. Every switch, every light, every sound feels intentional, raw, and emotional. But what really separates the 2026 Firebird from everything else isn't the power or the looks. It's the feeling it gives you. When you floor it, when that V8 roars to life and the exhaust spits fire, it's like hearing an old song come back on the radio. Familiar, nostalgic, but somehow even better than you remember. It's a love letter to the golden age of muscle cars, written in the language of modern performance. Pontiac says the Firebird will be limited to just 2,000 units worldwide, each starting at around $180,000. That's right, this isn't a mass-market muscle car. It's a collector's item, a rolling tribute to American freedom and speed. Production will begin in mid-2026, and if you blink, they'll be gone before you even hear the first one roar down the street. And while most cars today are built for efficiency, silence, and autonomy, the Firebird exists for something deeper.
It's built for the human behind the wheel, the driver who still believes that driving should make your hands sweat and your heart race. The kind of person who doesn't want their car to whisper, they want it to scream. The 2026 Firebird is proof that legends don't need to live in museums. They can come back, evolve, and still burn brighter than ever before. It's a time machine disguised as a supercar, bridging 1977 and 2026 with a single ignition button. And as it tears down highways, flames bursting from its exhaust tips and the neon bird glowing in the dark, one thing becomes clear. Pontiac might have been gone, but it was never forgotten. The Firebird didn't just return, it came back to remind the world why we fell in love with driving in the first place. Because some legends don't die. They just wait for the right moment to fly again. The 2026 Pontiac Firebird, the return of the rebel, the rebirth of the flame.
Some cars don't just roll off an assembly line. They arrive like royalty. They don't chase trends, they define them. And for decades, no name carried that kind of power like Eldorado. It was Cadillac's crown jewel, a symbol of luxury, power, and American excellence. Then it vanished, quietly, as the world moved on. But in 2026, the king returns. And he's not just back, he's reborn. The 2026 Cadillac Eldorado is more than a car. It's a statement, a thunderous reminder that American luxury still knows how to dominate. It's the kind of machine that doesn't whisper sophistication, it radiates it. From the moment you see it, you understand this isn't about transportation, this is about presence. Long, sleek, and commanding, the new Eldorado stretches over 18 feet in length, wearing its proportions like a tailored tuxedo made from aluminum and carbon fiber. The design language is unmistakably Cadillac, bold vertical headlights, an illuminated crest that glows like a crown jewel, and a silhouette that looks like it's gliding even when it's standing still. Every curve, every chrome accent, every detail exists for one reason: to make an entrance. Underneath that elegant armor lies a monster, a 6.2-liter twin-turbocharged V8 pushing out a staggering 780 horsepower and 720 pound-feet of torque, paired with a hybrid assist system that smooths power delivery and adds another 70 horses when needed. That means over 850 horsepower of seamless luxury. It's not just fast, it's effortless. 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. Top speed well beyond 210 miles per hour. But here's the thing, it never feels rushed. It's smooth, graceful, like a private jet taking off in total silence. And speaking of silence, Cadillac has reinvented the art of noise control. The 2026 Eldorado uses active acoustic cancellation, floating motor mounts, and soundproof glass so advanced you could hear your own heartbeat at 120 miles per hour. But when you switch it to performance mode, the mufflers open, and that V8 sings, a deep, confident baritone that lets the world know the king still breathes fire. Step inside, and you'll understand why the Eldorado ruled luxury for generations. The cabin isn't just a place to sit, it's an experience. There's leather so soft it feels like silk, brushed aluminum accents, and handcrafted wood that's polished for over 40 hours per piece. The interior lighting adjusts automatically to your mood, reading biometrics through the steering wheel and seat sensors. Yes, it literally knows how you feel. The dashboard is dominated by a 49-inch curved OLED display that stretches from door to door, with Cadillac's Crystal OS interface controlling everything from massage programs to autonomous cruise functions. The steering wheel folds inward when autonomous mode is engaged, turning the Eldorado into a first-class lounge on wheels. Even the air you breathe is filtered, ionized, and scented, with Cadillac's signature American Essence fragrance. But beneath all this technology lies something old, something timeless. The Eldorado still believes in driving, in feeling the road. The suspension uses adaptive magnetic dampers that adjust 1,200 times per second, giving it limousine comfort the one moment and sports car precision the next. It's not just smooth, it's supernatural. The 2026 Eldorado is built on Cadillac's new Omega 2 platform, shared with the Escalade IQ and Celestiq, but tuned for grand touring performance. Rear-wheel drive is standard, with optional all-wheel drive and torque vectoring that makes this massive machine dance through corners like something half its size. It's grace and muscle in perfect harmony. Cadillac didn't just want to revive a name, they wanted to revive an emotion. The feeling of power without arrogance. The feeling of presence without excess. The feeling of driving something that tells the world you've arrived, but you didn't need to shout about it. Pricing starts around $340,000, placing it squarely against the Rolls-Royce Ghost and the Bentley Flying Spur Speed. But the Eldorado isn't trying to copy Europe. It's reminding them where luxury was born. Production will be limited to 1,200 units for the first year, with deliveries starting in late 2026. Every Eldorado will be hand-assembled in Detroit, with buyers given the option to customize everything, from paint infused with microscopic gold flakes to seats embroidered with initials in platinum thread. It's not just luxury, it's legacy. And when you see one glide down the road, silent, confident, shimmering under city lights, you realize what Cadillac has done. They didn't just build a car, they built an heirloom, a new chapter in American royalty. Because the Eldorado was never about speed or numbers. It was about presence. About walking into a room, or in this case, rolling down a boulevard, and having every head turn without a word spoken. The 2026 Cadillac Eldorado is proof that true luxury doesn't need to scream. It just needs to exist. The king has returned. The crown fits perfectly, and his throne, the open road.
Some legends burn bright, fade away, and are remembered in whispers. But the Dodge Viper? It was never meant to whisper. It was born to roar, to terrify, to make your heart race every time that monstrous hood lifted toward the sky. For decades, it was the purest expression of American madness, a car with no filters, no apologies, and no mercy. Then, one day, it was gone. The world went quiet. The snake had fallen asleep. But 2026 changed everything, because the Viper has returned. And this time, it's not just back, it's venomous. Meet the 2026 Dodge Viper, a car that doesn't chase supercars, it hunts them. This isn't nostalgia, this is a declaration, a fire-breathing statement that raw power still matters, that emotion still matters, that the soul of American performance is alive and well, and it still wears a Viper badge. The design hits you like a punch of adrenaline. Long, wide, and impossibly low, the 2026 Viper keeps its iconic proportions but modernizes them in the most aggressive way possible. The hood stretches nearly to the horizon, carved with deep air vents that look like scars from battle. The headlights are razor thin, the fenders muscular and coiled like a predator ready to strike. Around back, the twin exhausts now exit through the rear diffuser, shooting flames with every downshift. It's not just a car, it's a creature. Underneath that sculpted shell lies an all-new 8.4-liter twin-turbocharged V10, hand-built by SRT's elite engineers. It produces a monstrous 1,100 horsepower and 950 pound-feet of torque, paired to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission and rear-wheel drive. No hybrid systems, no electric gimmicks, just pure combustion fury. 0 to 60, 2.1 seconds. Top speed, 252 miles per hour. It's faster than the last-gen Viper ever dreamed to be, and yet, it still feels completely unchained. When you start it, the car doesn't hum. It growls. It sounds alive, like something breathing under pressure. Every rev sends a shiver through your bones. Every shift feels like thunder breaking the horizon. The Viper doesn't make noise. It declares war. Inside, the cabin finally meets the future without losing its roots. It's still intimate, still driver-focused, but now it's wrapped in carbon fiber, Alcantara, and precision metalwork. The digital cluster reconfigures dynamically, mimicking analog gauges when track mode engages. A 15-inch center display handles performance telemetry, suspension settings, and launch control data. But make no mistake, this is still a driver's car. Everything is designed around one idea: control the beast or be eaten by it. And for those who dare, Dodge gives you 3 modes: street, track, and venom. In venom mode, traction control eases off, the suspension stiffens, and the throttle becomes razor sharp, turning the Viper into a machine that feels like it's alive, twitching, waiting for your next command. It's not forgiving, it's not polite, and that's exactly why enthusiasts love it. Every part of this car screams engineering obsession. The chassis is made from carbon fiber and titanium, shedding nearly 500 pounds from the previous generation. The aerodynamics have been completely reimagined, with active splitters, a deployable rear wing, and Venturi tunnels that create over 1,800 pounds of downforce at top speed. This is not the old brute from the 2000s. This is precision muscle, built to take on the likes of Ferrari SF90, the McLaren 750S, and even the Bugatti Chiron. The 2026 Dodge Viper doesn't just belong on the track, it dominates it. Around Laguna Seca, it's rumored to have shattered lap times set by cars twice its price. Around the Nürburgring, early prototypes are said to have dipped below 6 minutes and 40 seconds, putting it in elite, almost mythical territory. But beyond the numbers, beyond the carbon and horsepower, lies something far more important: emotion. The Viper represents something most cars have lost: fear. The kind of fear that comes from respect. You don't just drive a Viper, you form a pact with it. It gives you everything, but only if you earn it. Inside that roar is a heartbeat. The heartbeat of America's last untamed supercar, a machine that says no to conformity, no to silence, and no to compromise. It's a tribute to the past and a rebellion against the future. Dodge says only 1,500 units will ever be built. Each will cost around $350,000, but every buyer will receive their car through a special Viper Academy experience, where professional racers train them to handle its raw power. Because this isn't just another exotic, it's an initiation. The release date is set for mid-2026, and already the waiting list stretches into 2027, because everyone knows this might be the last great combustion-breathing Viper ever made. The end of an era and the beginning of immortality.